Welcome to Doug's Open Mic, a podcast spotlighting local musicians, bands, and songwriters.
All right, Doug's Open Mic back again. So today we're going to do something a little different. I'm going to do something that I'm going to call the couch to the stage, which means maybe there's people out there who's like, geez, I want to learn how to play guitar. Or maybe they already play guitar and that's like, I'd kind of like to perform a little bit. So I'm going to give you a couple of little hints on how to get there.
I would love, I personally, Doug, I would love hints on how to get to the couch, from the couch to the stage. Do I play an instrument? No. Do I perform? No, I do not. But I would still love to learn.
You know what? So, number one, I would say you can do it. It's not as hard as you think. A spoiler alert about guitar playing. Guitar playing is like a carpenter's toolbox. So you start out, you learn 2 or 3 chords. We'll call that the hammer. Maybe a couple of weeks later, you learn a strumming pattern. We'll call that a ruler. Maybe a couple of weeks later, you use another chord for. And then as songs come by, you go, oh, I need a hammer and a ruler. And that will do that song. And as time goes on, you just keep adding more and more stuff to your toolbox. And you get better and better at using the hammer. And it's basically just muscle memory after a while. It's like, so for me, it was almost like an epiphany once. So it's like the dreaded guitar F chord, which is it's a difficult chord. You got to bar it across with your fingers, and it's a little tough. And all of a sudden, you get frustrated. And all of a sudden, one day, boom, just came to me. And then the other thing epiphany was after a while, it was like you'll be playing. And you just go, oh, finger goes here, finger goes there, finger goes there. All right, we're going to change. We're going to move the finger over there. We're going to do this. We're going to change. All of a sudden, one day, you're not even thinking about it. All of a sudden, you can actually have a conversation with somebody, and your fingers are just doing their thing. In fact, if you look down at them, they'll go, leave us alone. We're fine without you. Go back. We're doing just fine without you. So the other good thing about a guitar is in about 2 weeks, you can probably have 3 chords down and start doing simple songs.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you're playing the saxophone or the drums or something like that, or the fiddle, it's going to take it 3 weeks. You can kind of get started. And I'll talk more about once you can play those a few chords and stuff like that, where to go from that. But before we get there, there's one important hurdle we have to get. We have to get a guitar to start with. So, what are the kind of the considerations about guitars? Well, first of all, do you want an acoustic one or you want an electric one? I say acoustic. The advantages of electric are, they are easier to play, no doubt about it. They have lighter strings, and they're usually one big block of wood, so you don't have to worry about them changing in humidity and stuff like that. The con of an electric guitar is that now you have to buy an amplifier. And also, when we talk about it later, if you're running around with your guitar trying to practice and play with people and stuff like that, electric guitar is not the best. Some open mics won't even let you in the door with an electric guitar, let alone play. So I recommend acoustic. I also recommend that you buy it from a local music store. I can't say enough good about Frets here in Westerly. If you buy it mail order or from Amazon, you got to be buying something basically sight unseen. You won't have the chance to feel how it feels in your body. You won't have a chance to hear what tone is. We're going to talk about setups in a minute. Guitar Center, not much better. Again, it's like you can test it out at the Guitar Center, which is a big plus, but you're better off with frets. Zach is a wonderful guy. He's got a whole shop full of guitars. He'll give you 100% service. You go in there, you tell him what you want. I'm a new guy. I need a guitar, and he'll set you up. So just to give you an idea, I called him up before the show. I said, if you walked into him right now, a new guitar for a beginning player will be $250, or an older secondhand guitar, $150. And I'd say buy the secondhand one. Buy the secondhand. All my guitars that I ever bought were secondhand. Well, my wife gave me one for Christmas one time that was brand new, but I turned it in for a secondhand one. And there's guitars actually sound better as they get older because the wood ages and opens up a little bit, and I just like them better. That's just secondhand guitar. That's and just set it up with Zach. Another problem with mail order guitars. There's something us guitar guys call setup. And basically, a key parameter of any guitar is what we call the action. And that is how far the strings are away from the fretboard. The further away the strings are from the fretboard, the harder it is to play. And if the strings are too close to the fretboard, then they start buzzing. So factories do what they call a loose setup, which is like 80% of the way there because they don't know where their guitar is going. It could be going to Maine, where it's kind of low humidity. It could be going to Florida, where it's high humidity. It could be going to Arizona. So they just kind of set it up where they got some room to maneuver. You're much better off. Let's just say you did buy a mail order guitar. You'd be well served to bring it down the frets and have them adjust it for this climate, which again, now all of a sudden you think you saved, $75 on by going mail order. You just spent it down at frets. So, and again, with setups, let's just say you're lucky enough that your brother says, you know what? I got an old guitar I never play anymore. You can have it. I'd still bring it to frets because it's probably been sitting in a closet for 10 years. It's going to be out of adjustment. And if it's out of adjustment, it's just going to make your whole learning thing harder. And so you don't want to be pressing strings down too hard because they're the action thing, or the strings are old. That doesn't sound very good. If you're gonna do this, start off right. Start off with a guitar that sounds and plays correctly. How's that for a pontification?
I mean, I think it makes sense.
Yeah.
That's a good first step. If you're going to play guitar, you should play a guitar that sounds correctly. And, if you need help with that, then there's no one better to go talk to and learn from than Zach over at Frets.
Yep. And it's just a wonderful shop. It's like I try to avoid it because I get tempted to buy another guitar and I have enough. So once you get the guitar, so what will be next? So now you're starting off, and you got the guitar. It's all tuned up. So just start learning some simple songs, and it I almost do campfire songs. It's like "Swing Low, Sweet Chariot," dare I say, "Kumbaya," and a lot of songs. I would say 90%, at least 80%, are just 3-chord songs. Just 3-chord songs that you can learn fairly easy. And if you can find somebody to play with, that's ideal. Because playing That doesn't sound right. I'm going to say anyway. Play with yourself on the couch is not ideal. It can be boring.
Absolutely.
It's like it's like other things.
Nope. Don't go any further.
Well, it's better. Some things are just better with two people. Can I say that?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
That's fine.
And yeah. So once you start, so that's really the trickiest transition point. Is you can kind of play some songs, but where do you go next? So the best thing is to just start getting out. And you don't have to get out expecting to play. Just go to places that have live music. Listen to the people that is playing. You'll find the guys that you like, and they'll be happy to talk to you. They'll be happy to talk to you, and then after a while you'll find other musicians. And if you just kind of go with the flow, you're going to end up okay. You're going to end up okay. But you have to get out there, and talk to people, and what you'll find is, let's just say, well, this has happened to me. It's like back in the day when I was starting out, I'd go down to Perks and listen to Dan Stevens, you know, and I really like this stuff. He was doing the fingerstyle blues stuff, and talk to him. And you know what? After a while, I introduced me to some of his friends, and then I go to another place and listen to them. And after a while, all of a sudden, somebody's having a party, and they say, "Oh, you play guitar, right? Come on by the party." And in the beginning, you just sit in the back, don't play much. But as time goes on, you get more and more comfortable with the whole thing about playing in front of people. Maybe in the beginning, you're just playing in front of a few people at a party around the campfire. But then eventually, you can do an open mic. And open mics are great for getting you into the performance. A typical open mic, you only have to play one or two songs. The people are going to be very generous. They're not going to. They're at an open mic. They know what they get, and at an open mic, what you get is what's that old Forrest Gump thing? The box of chocolate thing. You don't know what you're going to get, but
life is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get.
Yep, that's exactly what an open mic is. But there's always at least a couple of good people there playing, and you can pick up some tips. You talk to people, and pretty soon, give it a go. Your first one, I would suggest trying to find somebody to be your wingman, or be a wingman to somebody else, that they're playing. And everybody, it doesn't even matter if you kind of stink. It's like if I knew somebody who was starting out and they were doing open mic and said, "Doug, I'm doing an open mic. I'm really nervous. Could you come down and help me out?" I would do it in an instant. I would do it. I would even do it if somebody called me up from the radio show. I don't even know him. It's like, "I saw you on the radio show. You said April Mike." I said, "All right, where you going? I'll help you out." So, what else?
I don't know. You're the expert here, Doug. What else?
I'm blasting through this much faster than I
thought. So how did you get from the couch to the stage is my question.
Almost like what I told you. It's like, I started out, I had played a little bit of guitar even before I came to Westerly. When I was back, when I really kind of started playing guitar a little bit was when I was working in Hartford, and my boss at that time, I was working at the Dye House, played the fiddle, and he would have people over his house on Friday nights, and we'd just get together and play bluegrass songs and drink beer. It's like, so I was playing with him. And so again, all of a sudden, you start playing guitar and you start talking around, there's a lot of people in the United States that play guitar. I'll tell you, probably too many. And so I'm playing with him. So a side story on that is like, so at that time I had a Takamine acoustic guitar with nylon strings and stuff like that. And I was actually taking a couple of lessons there, but it was kind of it's almost classical. It's like, but when you start out, you just do stuff. You know what? You're gonna make mistakes in buying the wrong guitar at some time, and buying the wrong amp at some time, or getting a little. But just like you just learn from them and move on. And and the good thing about musical instruments is if you buy the wrong guitar, you just bring it down frets, put it on consignment, you get most of your money back. Boom, done.
Do you think it's better to start off with a do you think that it's better to start off with a guitar, a small guitar like Dave, for example, uses the Baby Martins because they're easier to they are they were great gigging guitars, right?
Yep.
So they're smaller, they have a great sound, they have a bright sound, and you can travel with them, you can beat them up.
Yep.
And also the friction is less on the hands, right? So it's a smaller guitar, so there's less space. Would you recommend something like that? Would you recommend, I know some people start on ukulele just to get used to rhythm
No,
and stuff like that.
ukulele. Yeah. The ukulele start is actually, I think we talked to Kim, that the ukulele start is pros on the ukulele start. Ukuleles are cheaper than guitars. Ukuleles only have 4 strings, so the chords are easier. Ukuleles are small, you can carry them around with stuff. Yeah, I mean, you can. Cons of the ukulele, you're never going to be able to do an open mic with a ukulele. Well, you could, but you're not, and people aren't going to be asking you to sit in and help them out with a ukulele. So, but it is a good start, and it doesn't cost much. As far as the size of guitars, see, that's where I think frets comes in again. It's what you're comfortable with. So you go down the frets and you say, "I'm starting out," and he goes, "Okay, here's a Martin. How do you like that?" Well, I think it's a little bit too small. Well, here's this one here. How does that one feel? And so it's really very much of a personal preference. I mean, I've always been a dreadnought guy, which is the big ones.
Right.
So anyways, I'm down playing with these guys on Friday nights. And one day the fiddle guy goes, Doug, I got an old this nylon string guitar just doesn't hack it for our type of music. You really need to get a steel string guitar. And I got one. Yeah, I got an old one, you can have it. It's like, but it's got problems. I said, all right. So it was a 1972 Guild. Now this is probably like 1978 or so. So it wasn't old then.
Right.
It wasn't old then, and it wasn't vintage then. He gave it to me, so I did some research on it, and I finally said, "All right, I just got to get this thing. I get it fixed. I'll send it back to the factory." And I called them up, and they told them about it. And they said, "Yes, it'll probably be about $300." It's like it's $300, 1980 money, by the way. But I said, "Okay." I was single. It was fine. It's like, I said, "So where are you?" "We're in Westerly, Rhode Island." I said, "Really? I wonder where that is."
Aww.
I wonder where that is. I was like, I'm gonna. So I sent it off there, and about 3 weeks later, they called me. It was done. I said, "You know what? What do you want to do?" I said, "You know what? I'm just gonna come down and pick it up. I'm just gonna come down and pick it up." By then, I had figured out where Westerly was. So I came down. It wasn't quite ready. This is my first impression of Westerly. It's like, what? It wasn't quite ready. He goes, "It will be about an hour." I said, "All right." I said, "What's that across the street?" They go, "Oh, that's a little bar." I go, "I'll just go there." So it was the Log Cabin. You remember the Log Cabin at all?
No, of course I don't remember the Log Cabin.
It was the weirdest little. I've been in a lot of bars in my life, and that was the weirdest one ever.
Why was it so weird?
I think it was the size of this room.
Okay, you know what? That is pretty small. This is a fairly small room for a recording studio. Never mind.
It had
a
two
bar.
tables in it, and the thing is that it was dark and it was dirty, and obviously the people were regulars, and it was like, oh boy, all right. but I had a beer, and then an hour later my guitar was ready, and I went back to Hartford.
Yeah.
So that was kind of my first thing. And then when I moved to Westerly for real, and I got married and I had kids. So once I got married and my kids are small, I didn't play guitar. Maybe once a year with my friends. We used to have a golf tournament we used to go to and stuff like that, and terrorize the course. And afterwards, to have a party. And there was one other guy that played guitar. We'd play some songs. But so I literally played guitar like once a year till my kids were like teenagers and had better things to do than hang out with dad. But so then I started playing a lot. So I started lessons with who was my first guitar teacher in Westerly?
Was it Zach?
Thor Jensen.
Okay. Thor Jensen was your first guitar teacher in Westerly?
Yep.
So you started with you started with Hendrix.
Yep.
Essentially. I mean, just
no, he was very.
I'm sure he was young at the time, but
yeah, and he wasn't the best fit for me, to tell you the truth, but because he was very much into the technical things, like you got to learn scales. It's like, scales, all right, don't learn. But but this is how the point is, like, how do you get into it is, and I said you just kind of go with the flow and just go to places. And meanwhile, I'm going to see Dan Stevens and other people playing around. So he goes, you know what you should do? Go down to Daniel Packer on Monday nights, and there's a jam there. Craig Edwards runs it, and it's an old time jam. So I went there, and I still play with those people, and that was so. So now all of a sudden I meet these 7 or 8 other musicians playing there every week, playing 3 hours at a time, just banging out regular chords, getting better with my rhythm all the time, and they have cookouts and parties. You play with them, and then.
So you're telling me that Thor Jensen is the person that we have to thank for you being obsessed with old time music?
Yeah, I think you have to blame him.
All right.
All right. I think you have to. I think he's gonna have to take the credit.
Okay, that's fine. So so this has been a good. We're coming up on 11 a.m. right now.
All right.
What? I'm not rushing you out, Doug. I'm just saying. So what?
I'm running out of stuff anyway.
I know you're running out of stuff. That's why I'm saying. So from the couch to the stage, if you can sum it up, how do you begin? Like, what are the first steps that we talked about in this episode? You find a guitar.
You find a guitar, and you just get out there.
You play with yourself for a little while.
Play with yourself a little while, then get out there to find other people, because it's more fun with more people. And it kind of just kind of flows. You'll just all of a sudden someday somebody will just say to you, you know what? I need some help at a gig over at Groton. It was like, and it will just, if you just keep going at it, and you'll know you're going to be your own worst critic. So let's just say you play an open mic, and at the end you're going to go, oh, that was terrible. That was awful. I forgot the second verse. I think the guitar can started going out too. I just. Nobody knows. You know what? You were fine.
Yeah.
You were fine.
Yep. Absolutely. Well, Doug, thank you so much. This has been wonderful, as always. And do you know what we're looking forward to next week?
Oh, next week. Don't let the children watch, because next week.
Oh, God.
What? Next week, I am going to be the representative of the live musicians in the area. And Pat, who runs a local distribution.
Who's the co-owner of 321 Media, first of all.
Yeah, but that doesn't give him license to...
he also owns a DJ Trivia franchise.
That's who we're going against. It's going to be the live guys versus DJ Trivia guys. And why some of us live guys get a little salty with them on occasion.
All right.
But Ben's going to be the referee.
Sure.
Ben's going to be the referee, so hopefully there'll be no violence.
All right. Well, sounds good. And we just want to say thank you to all of our sponsors for the show. Lathrop Insurance, serving the community since 1939. The Thirsty Beaver, the official place to watch Westerly High School sports. And there's a girls' basketball game tonight that you should check out there. Roof Right Roofing, Rio's Barbershop. I need a haircut badly. Remy's Cycle / Teddy's Toys over on Railroad Avenue. Coldwell Banker Coastal Homes, John Fazzaro, a great realtor. DJ Trivia RI. D&V Mechanical, and Keepers Martial Arts. We want to say thank you to all of you, and we will see you guys next week here on Doug's Open Mic. Doug, thank you so much.
All righty.
Hi, this is Dan from Lathrop Insurance. In this challenging insurance environment, Lathrop Insurance can be your beacon in the storm to help you find the coverage you need at the right price. Now, more than ever, you need a partner in the insurance industry that can work with multiple carriers to make sure you have the right coverage at the right price. Lathrop Insurance carries home, auto, and business insurance and can be reached at 401-596-2525. We've been supporting the local community since 1939, and we look forward to working with you.
Are you looking for a fresh cut in Westerly? Step into Rio's Barber Shop in Granite Plaza. Whether it's a classic trim or a trendy new look, we've got you covered. Experience the perfect cut for every age and style in a friendly and relaxed atmosphere. At Rio's, it's not just a haircut, it's an experience. Visit Rio's Barber Shop in the Granite Plaza in Westerly or give us a call to schedule your appointment at 401-315-2208. Your style, our craft, Rio's Barber Shop.
Hot summers and cold winters can be unbearable, but D&V Mechanical has the solution for you. As a Mitsubishi Diamond dealer, we provide energy-efficient and personalized comfort solutions for your home. Our experienced technicians will install your new system quickly and efficiently, ensuring your complete satisfaction. Don't suffer through another season of discomfort. Contact D&V Mechanical today for a personalized ductless mini-split installation that fits your lifestyle. D&V Mechanical, your comfort is our top priority.
Ever thought about leveling up your fitness game in a fun and meaningful way? Kiefer's Martial Arts on Granite Street has everything you're looking for. Kickboxing, Muay Thai, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and of course, adult karate. It's not just about getting fit, it's about building your self-confidence, discipline, and that unstoppable feeling you get from all your hard work. Stop into Kiefer's Martial Arts today to sign up.